Hi, Pauline. Nice to see you back again.
Hi, Farookh. It's so good to see you. It's really, really good to see you.
Thank you
It's
very
like
much.
the world has shrunk, isn't it?
Yeah,
We're so
exactly.
close.
Superb. It's shutting down. And I think the last time we had the interview, the first episode, it was around about 6 to 7 months back.
Yeah,
And
it
then
was.
you said, yeah, and then you said that you're going to write a book, and today your book is out. It's then on Amazon. Where is your book? Let the people see your book.
Here
Wow.
we are. And I said today on something, it's a bit like having a baby.
Wow.
You don't know what's going to come out. You don't know how well behaved it's going to be.
Absolutely, absolutely. And every parent, every mother, they love the baby, whatever the color is and how the baby looks like. What about your baby? Talk about your baby now.
Well, my baby is my philosophy of life. It's called Magical Conversations, Transforming Conflict into Collaboration. And this is an absolute passion of mine because I love A, to connect, and B, to smile
Hmm.
and make the world a happy and harmonious place. So that's my mission. And writing the book has been, well, it's about 2 years in coming because I had written a larger book and then I took the essence of my philosophy out into this book. So I'm
Hmm.
very proud because it's like a baby step. It's a baby book for the baby steps of the next book and the next essence of what I'm doing. And so essentially, I feel it's an inspiring short read. It's to share my story, it's to share
Hmm.
and 6 lessons, and it's to help people understand what's happening in their world today for
Hmm.
men and women and conversations. So I think the baby's okay.
The baby is okay. Right. So
We'll see how it behaves.
absolutely, absolutely. And is your baby fit for adults, or is there any age group, or is there any gender difference? Because I know that you're talking about gender. So is there
Yeah.
any gender specific? What is that, your baby?
Well, no, I very much hope it'll be read by everybody because it's about men and women, and we're
Mhm.
all either a man or a woman.
That's
But
right.
it's also about how we live our life, and it's how
Mhm.
we have conversations.
Yeah.
Um, I think it will be read by men and women, and I
Mhm.
know from some of the first purchases today, there's one gentleman who wrote to me and said, "I've bought your Kindle book, I read it, and it's already changed my life."
Wow. So that's a
So
child. It's something that could change your life if you go deep into it.
yeah, because I think, well, this is my philosophy, but I believe it's quite simple and quite sensible
Hmm.
because it's about how do you live a good life?
Yeah.
How do you have conversations where you don't have judgment and you don't have anger and you don't get into musts and woulds and oughts and shoulds? And
Hmm.
it takes a fleeting look at what men and women are doing today and how we might understand each other. But
Hmm.
really, it's about the philosophy of being positive minded, being aware, being conscious of whether the conversation is working or not. And that's my passion.
Wow. And I know that your passion is to be in the corporate world, and you have applied this in your corporate world while you were back in the UK. So, how can somebody, for example, if I were to be the CEO of an organization, how can I apply the philosophies and the theories and the practicality of your book into my team?
Oh, absolutely, because it enables you to firstly understand the players around the table,
Hmm.
and it gives you a map. So it's very, if you like, practical. It'll give you a map between this player and how they work together.
Hmm.
And I have actually worked with a lot of corporate teams with this program and with the ideas behind it. But
Hmm.
one of the things that's important is that we now have a workplace where men and women work together, and
Yep.
it's not going to change. It's going to increasingly be men and women working together. And
Hmm.
I've been doing some research and talking to men about men, and there's a degree of confusion for men about how to manage women, and
Hmm.
that's not very good for business. So, in
Hmm.
terms of being good for business, it's a way of enabling your mixed communities of men and women to understand each other and get the most creative output
Hmm.
and to actually potentially find lots of innovative ways
Hmm.
to stretch your business to more things. So it does work. And I wrote in the second chapter, I think, magical conversations are not soft and fluffy. They're
Hmm.
actually, they have a structure to them, and they have rules and guidelines.
Hmm.
And people often say to me, well, what if somebody gets angry in a magical conversation? I say, well, it stops being a magical conversation. And indeed, it stops business, because when people get angry in business,
Yeah,
that's not good for business, and it's not good
absolutely.
for your customer. So
Exactly.
it's actually a very significant tool this time of our life. 2019
Mm-hmm.
is the year of collaboration.
Yep.
There's so many players out there. There's so many stresses and strains on business. We've
Mm-hmm.
got to think beyond the old. We've got to go past the past.
Absolutely.
And the
Absolutely.
only way forward is to have conversation. And the
Mm-hmm.
magic of conversation is turning the unbelievable into believable.
Oh, yeah,
So
absolutely.
if an organization wants more creativity, more sustainability, more good relationships, especially in the senior management,
Mm-hmm.
then this is what will make it work.
Absolutely, absolutely. And now you spoke about two very important words, and that's why I was just picking those two words. And one is called collaboration, and the second one is conversation. These are the C's that comes. There are around about 21 C's, Pauline, and these are very important C's. And without collaboration in today's world, you won't be able to move forward. It's not competition anymore. It's all about collaboration. And the second thing that is conversation. Conversation is all about connecting and connectivity. And you have applied this in your life for many, many years. How long did it take for you to write this book?
Well, it's taken me about a year and a half to write a bigger book out of which this has come.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it was a learning curve about actually getting everything out of my head into a book, and then
Mm-hmm.
realizing I actually had 2 or 3 books. So
Mm-hmm.
this is the first one now of what I've already written. So it's also taken me a lifetime. I
Mm-hmm.
remember an author saying to me this once. I asked him, how long did it take you to write the book? And he said, "Oh, do you want the long story or the short story?" And I went, "Oh." And he said, "Well, it took me 25 years, but actually it took me 3 weeks." So I
Mm-hmm.
think when you've got a book within you,
Mm-hmm.
you're mulling it over the whole time. You're thinking. I mean, this is what I've written in this book is my philosophy of the last 30 years in business,
Mm-hmm.
but it comes out now. And
Mm-hmm.
so actually, I think those are the best books because they
Mm-hmm.
come from your lifetime of history.
Absolutely, absolutely. What are the three main takeaways from the book?
The main takeaways are that there can be rules to understand conversations. And that
Mm-hmm.
almost sounds like a block, but it's not. But the first rule is no judgment.
Yeah.
So when people look at that, and that's very significant in a world which is very judgmental,
Mm-hmm.
how can you get in that place? So the first aha is, no, how can I do that? How can I stop the assumptions that are going to be in the way?
Mm-hmm.
The second key takeaway is that everything comes from you.
Absolutely.
We know that. So,
Mm-hmm.
but the value creation cycle, which I talk about, is absolutely core to my life, is that once I understand me, then the next step is I need to understand the dynamics with you
Mm-hmm.
and with
Mm-hmm.
you and you and you and you. Because in order for us to move to a we, a
Mm-hmm.
together,
Mm-hmm.
I need to go through that path. I can't just leap straight into being we.
Yep.
So I need to value me, I need to value you, and then I need to value the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That's the second one. And the third one is just the fact that you can become an attraction magnet. It
Mm-hmm.
all comes from you, but watch. I think there's a lot of it about watch what's happening around you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always about the words you use, it's about your energy level, your tuning in and have a think about, I'm tuning into this person, I'm not tuning into that one. When you plug the wire into the socket, you get a connection.
Yep.
That's what it's about. It's about connection. So I hope
Absolutely.
the takeaways are that, yes, it's down to me, but I am part of the world. And I can either go out there and be judgmental, or I can step into a space where I allow my experiences to be shared.
Wow, great. Is this something to do with law of attraction?
I think all of that is in there. It's positive thinking, it's law of attraction. Um, it's a mindset to want to be in a space of understanding.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about the reverse, which is blocks, arguments, oh, they're just too difficult, And one of the key things I say is that our differences are only difficulties when we don't understand them.
Yep.
When we understand them, you're different to me, I'm different to somebody else. When I understand the differences and I can say, wow, this is a jigsaw puzzle that goes together, and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So, sameness is okay. Sometimes it's good to be with people who are similar to you. But if we understand our differences, then they become really joyful. Sadly, I think sometimes our differences are causing difficulties. And that's what we need to get beyond.
Absolutely, absolutely. Pauline, is this book fit for young adults?
Young adults? Oh, yes, I hope so. There's nothing in it that would upset anybody. In fact, I think any child of reading age could read it.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, in the book, I share my story, which goes right back to when I was a young girl.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things when I was a young girl, I always wanted to be a sailor.
Mm-hmm.
Curious, really, because a lot of little girls wanted to be ballerinas.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to be a sailor and sail on the high seas to America.
Okay.
And here I am, I've ended up in America. But the stories that we have in our life are the initial place to start. So right at the beginning, I talk about having a very sure understanding of your natural gift.
Mm-hmm.
And your natural gift is preschool.
Yeah.
And therefore, I think kids will enjoy reading it because I share it in a very storytelling way.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're only in their teenage years now, it will give them food for thought of what is happening to them now.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So yes, I think everybody of reading age could read it.
Great, great. So here's the challenging question. Would a mom recommend your book to the child, and would a CEO recommend your book to the team?
Yeah, I think so, because
what is a USP or unique selling proposition for that book? Why would a mom tell the child, go and read that book? Or why would a CEO or a president of a company tell, read that book?
Because it's a very good question, Farookh. You are very good at a difficult question. But no, it's not difficult. It's actually because it's very genuinely not just a self-help book. And I think that's where my work is different.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just a coach that does self-development. It's all about the dynamics. So it's about me and you and we.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why a parent would be wise to share it with their child, because it's not telling you what to do, but inviting you to be okay with who you are, but be okay with other people.
Wow.
And the same with grandparents, with grandchildren, with any relationship, because essentially it's about the connection between you and another person, a relationship between a family member, a social member, a business member, and obviously your intimate love partner. All the relationships count in your life.
Yeah. Wow.
And I think for me, the USP is it puts a very simple philosophy of life forward that anyone can follow. And it's not dictating anything. It's just saying, you're born with something good, you want to use it, and you want to share it. And what I've done in the book, Farookh, is I put some quotes in. So I have pages where I've got some very big quotes, and these are very mindful. They're very in the moment. Let me read you one. Be passionate, choose well, make wise decisions, make wise choices, favor positive results, and value the principles that open the gateway to your magic.
Wow.
And in my conversation today with friends is that magic is a magical word. The first time I ever used it, I got amazing responses from people, even though they had no idea what magical conversation was. They went, "Oh, yeah, that could be good."
Wow.
Even that lifts your spirit. So you've already, even by saying the words, you have put yourself in a mindset to be delighted.
Wow. Pauline, what is your expected number of sales by the next birthday of yours?
I would like 100,000 copies of my book, either printed copies or Kindles. I don't really mind, but I just said I was thinking about it the other day, and this 100,000 came into my mind by May the 23rd, which happens to be my birthday. And it's my 70th birthday, so I think I'm going to celebrate it by having maybe even more than that, but at least 100,000.
Wow.
And, if you set your intentions out there, then the world responds.
Exactly correct. Exactly correct. One last question. Where would you like to take this book to the next level? Is there any training program, or what is that? You would, what's
Yes,
your intention? What's the next intention and plan?
absolutely. And that's a lovely question. I've got an online program which has 6 modules, which essentially takes you through the elements in this book and also in the deeper elements which will come out in my next book, which is that to really understand the essence of men and women, and it goes into a lot of detail. So those modules, the 6 modules, but they're on my website, which is missmagicalconversations.com. Under buy the book, there's also this program. And I'm very passionate to teach people this deeper level,
Mm-hmm.
because you can either use it for yourself
Yeah.
or you can actually use it with your clients. And I foresee ambassadors of magical conversations everywhere in the world. And why not in the boardroom?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have a CEO,
Yeah.
CFO, an HR director, etc., and you have an ambassador of magical conversation who keeps a watchful eye on the culture of the business. I think Sir Richard Branson would like this idea.
Wow. Absolutely. Pauline, recently I saw one of your picture on Facebook, standing with your book and one of the great, great teachers in the world right now, Jack and Field. How was your experience with him, and how did he go through the book? Did you present him a
Uh,
book?
I gave him a book. I put a signature in it. I
Mhm.
hope he reads it. I know he's a very busy man, but Jack Canfield, superb, absolutely amazing. I mean, certainly a role model for me now. If he can sell 50 million books and now he's sold 500 million books,
Mhm.
I can do the same. Why not? But he's a very genuine man.
Mhm.
And I just was so thrilled to be there and to have that picture taken with the book. It's exactly what I set the intention to do.
Mhm.
So, again, when you set your intentions, things happen, good things happen.
Absolutely. And Jack and Field was there in India just a week before he came to the
That's
UK.
right. He came in fact, he was in Kerala, wasn't he?
I was in Tamil Nadu, in Chennai.
Oh, Chennai. But
Yeah.
I know he just flown in from India and he was just flying off somewhere else. But he actually spent 3 hours talking to the audience and inspiring us and engaging us. And I was just so thrilled. I learned so much. And I
Mhm.
think, well, he's 75 this year. If he can do it, I can do it.
I remember when he came up with the very first book, which is Chicken Soup, which you know, for the soul.
Yes.
And he had written one thing, an intention. We spoke about the intention, and his intention was to get 1 million US dollars. He wrote that
Yeah.
figure, and he said that he didn't reach, though, he didn't reach 1 million US dollar, but he reached somewhere close to that. And that's exactly
Yeah.
what you have with you, with 100,000 books by the end of this birthday. By the time you move on to 70th birthday, you're going to
Yeah.
get 100,000 copies. Ladies and gentlemen, Holland.